This review is made possible by Toyota of Naperville. Toyota of Naperville is the largest Toyota dealer in Illinois with hundreds of new and used vehicles in their inventory. Visit www.toyotaofnaperville.com or in person at 1488 West Ogden Avenue in Naperville, Illinois.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2021 Toyota Sienna. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline 4 as well as a hybrid drive system, and down below is a CVT. Now I'm super excited to be driving the 2021 Sienna for a couple of different reasons. First of all, it is completely redesigned for 2021. I have a previous year Sienna review up on the channel as well. I'll link that at the end of the video if you want to compare and contrast, but this is a completely new minivan, and I absolutely love that. The second reason I'm excited to drive this here Sienna, and we'll get into it when we talk about the drive system, is the fact that this is only offered in hybrid. Just like the Toyota Venza, this is only offered with a hybrid drive system, and I'll talk about why that's so dang important later on in the video. Now, before we get on to the rest of the video, if you guys are interested in selling your car, please click the link in the description below. Cashforcars.com will buy your car with a salvage title, good title, running, non-running, whatever it is. Please go support the channel by clicking the link in the description below. You can get a fast and easy quote for free, and they will pick up your vehicle in less than 24 hours. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter inline 4. Well, like I said, it's the same exact drive system as the new Toyota Venza, which was also redone for 2021. The 2.5 liter gasoline engine is the same that you'll find in like a Camry and other vehicles like that. It's not that special of an engine, but that drive system, the hybrid drive system, is pretty important. I will put power numbers up on the screen as well as miles per gallon. You guys really don't care about power, so miles per gallon in this thing is the important bit, and this gets very good miles per gallon because under 20 miles an hour, this car can drive in complete electric mode. That means inching up in traffic, drive-throughs, neighborhoods, parking lots are all going to be in electric mode, cutting down on emissions and cutting down on your fuel consumption. I absolutely love that. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT, and normally I'm not a big fan of CVTs, but it feels right at home here in the Sienna. I don't notice anything weird. It's not revving any different than any other hybrid would. It drives like a hybrid. So it feels very normal to me. And that's what I always disliked about the CVTs, is that they always felt odd. They didn't feel normal. Now they feel normal, and I absolutely love that. Last but not least, this particular Sienna is front-wheel drive. However, an all-wheel drive model is offered. So you can get an all-wheel drive Sienna, which is really, really cool, and of course it's still a hybrid as well. One last thing about the drivetrain before we get on to the interior is the fact that this Sienna can tow 3,500 pounds. They made a point of that on Toyota's website, which I think is absolutely great. 3,500 pounds is not bad for a CVT minivan. So let's talk about the interior. We have a bunch of things to go through in the interior. Well, in front of me, I have two main gauges. On the left is my eco and charge gauge. This is sort of like a tachometer. This tells me how ecologically I'm driving. So on the far left is charge, and then I have my eco bar, and then once we get into the power, that means that the gasoline engine is kicking in. I do have my coolant down below that, and then on the right side I have my speedometer and fuel. Nothing really too crazy there. And then in the center I do get a nice little screen. Pretty typical for Toyota. I'm shuffling through a couple different of the pages. It gives me some good information in the screen. It's colorful. I like that a lot. And when we talk about the different drive modes, it actually changes colors, which I really, really like. But clean, simple, easy to read, and I like that a lot. These gauges are pretty much the same gauges you'll find in the Toyota Venza. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my selector for that center screen I just showed you in the gauges, phone options, volume options, and voice commands. Then on the right, I have all of my radar cruise control options, as well as my mode and skip track. So this vehicle does have radar cruise control. It's actually a part of the Toyota SafeSense 2.0 system, which includes pre-collision warning, lane departure alert, radar cruise, lane centering, automatic high beams, and street sign assist, all rolled into one system, which is very, very nice, and that comes standard on Siennas. You know, modern cars have so many safety features. It's really, really great. Now, to the left of me, I have my automatic high beam off button, traction control off, my gauge dimmer switches, my fuel door, and my power doors off. However, I also do get this nice little shelf. This is not the only shelf found in the Sienna, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Then moving on to the door, I do have my lock and unlock power windows and power mirrors. Now, if you go up to the Platinum Edition, you would get memory seats. Now, moving into the center, we have the giant display screen. I absolutely love it for a couple of different reasons. First of all, it feels good, it looks good, it has a decent frame rate, has good coloring in the screen itself, but Toyota is offering Apple CarPlay in the Sienna, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Amazon Alexa, if that's something that you would prefer. But we can go home here, I can look at my latest MPG, my range, Apple CarPlay. I really like that. I can get a couple different apps. Like I said, it looks great, it functions great. However, if you go up to the Platinum, it has a feature where you can speak into a microphone and it'll actually project your voice over to the rest of the van. So if that's something that you want, you will have to go up to the Platinum trim level. However, it is offered at least here in the Sienna. The screen is touchscreen, don't know if I mentioned that. And like I said, it has good response. It's a very modern screen. I would say adequate with current cell phones, which is always what I look for. You know, I think the $30,000, $40,000 car that I buy should have a screen as nice as the $900 phone I have in my pocket. And that is true here in the Sienna. Down below that, I do have my climate control options, heated seats for the front occupants. Again, the Platinum Edition comes with ventilated seats, but this does not have that option. Pretty typical climate controls, nothing really too crazy there, nothing interesting. However, down below that, I have this giant swooping shelf that goes from the left to the right of the car. It goes almost the entire width of the cabin. And it does have a stop, to stop things from rolling around. And this is also where you'll find your USB in for the radio. Now, here's the thing about that, is that this is the only USB in the vehicle that goes to the radio. So if you want to have your phone plugged in for Apple CarPlay, you have to do it through this front USB port, which is kind of messy. You can leave your phone up on that shelf, sure, but like me, I have a long cord. It kind of snakes around the whole interior and it doesn't look great. Now, the reason I bring that up is because there are 7 USB ports in the new Sienna, 2 of which are in the center console, but they don't go to the center radio. Those are just for charging. I wish that they would have made those go towards the radio, so then, the interior would look a little bit nicer. Moving into the center console itself, I do have the shifter. We'll talk about that in a second, but to the right of that, I have 2 cup holders as well as a phone holder, which is very nice. And then at the bottom, I have 2 more flip out cup holders, which again, very, very nice. This is a van. They know their target audience. You're going to have 8 different McDonald's cups as you drive down to Disney. So cup holders are plentiful. But getting back to the shifter, it's pretty typical of Toyota's newer style shifters. I like the feel of them. I like the look of them. I think overall they do really well. But below that, I do have my power parking brake, my drive mode button. So we have a couple different drive modes. Right now I'm in Eco, but I can switch it up to normal, turns the screen black, and then Sport actually turns the screen red, which I kind of like. Then I do have EV mode as well. Then I have the brake hold button. Now this is God's gift to mankind, because you press this once, you come up to a stop like this. We're even on a hill right now. And boom, the vehicle won't go anywhere. Now, in order to disengage that brake, you just lightly get back on the gas and drive like you would. That is a great feature for traffic, for drive-throughs, for stop and go. It's great. I have it in my own personal car, and it's one of the most used features I use in my car. It's absolutely great. Then we do have a center console. Like I said, this is where you'll find those 2 extra USB ports, a standard one and a USB-C, which is nice. As well as this is a soft opening, which I really, really like. The center console is very, very interesting. Very obvious that it is redesigned. It's sort of floating. I'll show a side shot that there's this whole space below. There's a 12-volt outlet down there as well. It's this very interesting sort of floating style center console. It really reminds me of like a Halo Reach map or something. Man, what was that map called? I'll try to find it, but there's a bunch of walkways that go everywhere in this Halo map. Very much reminds me of that. There's like these different levels. I like that a lot. Now the seats are nice and comfortable. Like I said, they're heated. However, the tan doesn't quite match the tan on the doors, which kind of bothers me ever so slightly. But beggars can't be choosers. It is what it is. They're very comfortable. They're van seats. You know, you're going to be spending a lot of time in here going to practice, going to rehearsal, going to games and events and things like that. So it is a very comfortable vehicle. But before we get to the back seats, I do have a nice sunroof I wanted to point out, as well as I do have door operations and tailgate operations up above, which are very, very nice. And the buttons are so light to open up the rear doors. It's great. But now let's do some backseat reviews. All right, so we're in the second row of the 2021 Toyota Sienna minivan. Legroom is unbeatable here. I mean, like, I can literally stretch out. This feels like I'm in a Lincoln Navigator or, you know, some big luxury vehicle like that. Now, these seats do go forward and back, so I can scoot all the way up here if I really want to. I don't want to, though. Or I can bring them all the way back here like they were. I mean, if you don't have anyone in the third row, this is the place to be. I mean, this is, I can stretch fully out. Now, again, if you got the Platinum, these rear seats would actually have fold-out ottomans, which is insane. So cool. I do have two USB chargers up in front of me. Again, a traditional and a USB-C. I have two cup holders down there. I have cup holders here on the side. Power doors. I do have sunshades, which is very, very nice. Just pull it right out there. Obviously, power windows that go almost all the way down. Something that minivans used to never do when I was a kid. Power doors. So one-touch door. Opens right up. I love that. Again, one touch to close it. I do interestingly have speakers in the doors as well. Now, we do have a third row, so we will hop back there. So we're now in the third row of the Toyota Sienna 2021, and I do have two more USB ports over here. So 2, 4, 6, and then that 7th one up on the dash that I didn't really like. I'm sitting a little bit sort of cranked up. However, legroom is great back here. You know, I'm a 5'11" adult who has never been categorized as small, and I fit back here fine. You know, would I enjoy a road trip back here? No, but I could do it, and that can't be said about a lot of other vehicles. I do have two cup holders on either side, but that's really it in terms of amenities. I guess I do have these vents back here, which is very, very nice that the third row gets vents. I can blast my one eyeball right here with AC if I wanted to. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention in the second row, I do have AC controls up here on the ceiling, so I have my own AC controls for the back area, which is very, very nice. Now we'll hop out and talk about the tailgate as well as the key fob. All right, it's pretty windy here, but press and hold. Power lift tailgate, absolutely love that. Look at all this space. I mean, this goes all the way down. These seats do fold into this, but if you have the seats up, I mean, look at how far down this goes. This is like, it probably goes down almost, you know, 10 inches, maybe a foot. I have these nice side cupboards here. Here's where I'll find my battery. Now, you can get an optional 1500 watt power inverter for back here, which funny enough, they advertise on their website is for a air mattress or a pressure cooker. Kind of interesting there. But I mean, great cargo space, even though it is a van. I mean, look, this thing goes on for a country mile and it still has tons and tons of room back here. I really, really like that. Now, I do have a tailgate button. But what I really wanted to show off with the key fob is the fact that press and hold, and you can open up the side doors at the push of a button, which is really, really nice. You can also close it as well. Very, very interesting. Now, something I wanted to point out is the fact that apparently I can just kick. Oh, it worked. Look at that. These things are usually pretty gimmicky and never work, but that's cool. So you can just kick. You see there's this little logo. You just kick right there and it closes. Now we have to talk about the looks. Now, the reason I chose this to review is because that this green color is called Cypress Green and is only offered on the Sienna. So this is actually a Sienna exclusive color. So I thought I'd show it off to you guys. I like it. I think it's a nice foresty sort of green. I think if it had the black wheels on it, I think that would look a little bit better with the green, but beggars can't be choosers. Or if they offered bronze wheels, because I actually drove a Toyota 86 Hakone edition that had a similar paint color, not the same, but similar. And that had gold wheels, or bronze wheels actually, and that looked really, really nice. Maybe bronze wheels on the Sienna. Now, I won't go as into it as I went into in the Toyota Venza review. I think I spent like 5 minutes talking about the importance. But I do think that this minivan is significantly important to the world. And the reason is that this is only offered in a hybrid. There is no just standard gasoline option. The reason I think that's so great is that if Toyota can do it, let's see Honda do it. Let's see Kia do it with the Sedona. Let's see the Town & Country go only hybrid. I know there's a hybrid offered, but let's go only hybrid. And so if we can get all of the minivans in the world to be hybrid, think of how much emissions that'll save in traffic jams. Think of the last time you see Siennas and Odysseys everywhere. Think of if they were all electric under 25 miles an hour. Think of how many emissions would be saved. Or with the car just idling, warming up after soccer practice. Well, you can leave the heater on with just the battery. You know, you're not going to have a sea of minivans idling after a cold football game. This arguably is more important than the Toyota Venza, because the Venza is just an SUV. But this is a true people hauler. This is a tool. These things run for 200,000 miles. Everyone and their mom has had a minivan at some point. And so if we can make all minivans hybrids, I think that's a great step in the right direction. And now my final thought, my closing thought, or thoughts, is the fact that this thing is really nice, actually. I talk loud, I know, I'm Italian and Irish, it's in my blood. But even though the gasoline engine just kicked in, it's very, very quiet, it's very sublime. And that's what you want out of a minivan. Odds are you're driving around a bunch of reckless, annoying 10-year-olds. And so, yeah, the drive to school is loud at 7 in the morning. It's terrible. But driving home, nice and calm and quiet. Very reserved. When driving in EV mode, it's even quieter. It's great. The materials in here feel pretty nice. Is it a Bentley? Not quite, but it's very, very nice in here. A bunch of different materials. I liked this sort of streaked, I don't even know what this is, metal, brown metal thing that they have going on in the center console. I don't know what it is, but it looks nice. The soft opening center console, the nice touchscreen, heated seats, leather seats. Overall, this is a very comfortable vehicle, and it's nice. Does it justify a $50,000 price tag for the very, very top? I honestly think so. I do. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you, as always, to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Sienna. I really, really enjoyed this experience. It's a nice van. I think the redesign went really, really well. I think overall, from the interior perspective, it's great. It's a really solid minivan, and it's very clear to me why the Siennas sell as much as they do. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.